it's Kate here of Colorblind Cross Stitch. It has been, gosh, how long has it been? I don't know. It's been a long time. Longer than I intended. Today is Wednesday, August 16th, and I am here to give you an update on what I've been doing for the last, 3 weeks? Hi, Neko. Hi, Neko. Say hello to all the beautiful people. Yes. Okay, bye, Neko. It has been pretty hectic here, so I haven't had a chance to do an update like I had planned. I was, as I mentioned in my last video, I was going on vacation for a week. I got back from my vacation, I had a lovely time. And then this weekend I actually had to go, I was out of town again. I needed to get some new contact lenses because I needed new lenses, and that was fine, go see the eye doctors. And then I went and saw my brother and my youngest niece, who is adorable. So I stayed over there for the weekend. Neko, you're going to lie on my stitching, aren't you? I can see you thinking about it. I'm gonna make you move if you do that. I went to spend the weekend with my brother and my sister-in-law and my youngest niece, who is an adorable baby. Consequently, I wasn't doing any Flosstube recording or editing or anything because I wasn't here. So, now that I'm finally here, it's Wednesday, middle of the week, so not my usual update time at all, but I haven't got a chance to do this yet, and I'm feeling like I'm so behind. There are a couple things to do. I think I'm going to do this way. I am going to give you an update on my stitching, what I've done in the past, 3 weeks? Has it been 3 weeks already? I feel like it's been 3 weeks. Maybe even longer? I don't know. It's been a long time, and I've got a lot of stuff done. So, I'm going to give you an update on that. Then, while I was on vacation, I did a bit of a video vloggy sort of thing. Took some videos while I was sailing, both of sort of what I was doing, stitch-wise, and not so stitch-wise. Thought I would kind of put those together, show you a little bit so you can kind of follow along while I was, follow along what I was doing. I thought that might be kind of fun. Depending on how long my, updating you and showing off my stitching for this week takes, I might stick all of that in another video. The other thing I'm going to stick in that video, just because it's really super cool, is the weekend before my vacation, or the weekend we left, there was this thing in Ottawa called La Machine, and it's they're originally from France, and they're this it was this big animatronic dragon and animatronic spider. I'm talking like 2 stories tall animatronic spider. These things were huge, and they were walking around the streets in Ottawa, in the Byward Market in downtown. And so we left, before we went off for our sailing trip, we went to check them out, and I took a bunch of videos of them because they were so cool. So I'm gonna show them to you because they were so cool. There will be assorted video clips of goodness, either at the end of this video or in a separate video, probably in a separate video because I have lots of things to show you. Getting on to the stitching part. One of the things I did that I did not end up getting to tell you about because I ended up not recording a video until now is the first thing I did the week before I went on my vacation. I did 2 things. Firstly, I printed my pattern for the Tangible Good project. Or rather, got it printed. I think it was $7 or $6.50 or something for the spiral binding and the cover, and that is the chart. That's that's probably, that might be a centimeter thick. Maybe not quite a centimeter, but it's pretty thick. The PDF was 76 pages, so it's 38 pages double-sided. And that's the pattern. I'm holding this upside down. Oh, I picked a very uninteresting page. It has a sky and a hill and none of the characters. I just picked a page in the middle at random, but yeah. Not much you could stitch of that. A bunch of blue and a bunch of green. You wouldn't even know what they are, because there's no key. But yeah, that was the first thing I did, is printed my pattern, because, you know, it would be easier to work from a print pattern. I should just kind of bite the bullet and do it. And I'm actually really glad I did, because it is easier to work from a print pattern than from a PDF. I mean, I guess, I feel like if I was the sort of person to do patterns, like start in like the top left, or, you know, top right, or like to start in a corner and work down and across, working a PDF would be pretty easy, because I wouldn't have to worry about like flipping pages. I wouldn't have to worry about flipping pages nearly as much. I'd probably like print the symbol key, or maybe like write the symbols on my bobbins or something, so I wouldn't have to keep referring to it, and then I could just kind of, you know, go in like 10 by 10, or actually this pattern is 5 by 5 squares. Oops. 5 by 5 squares. Mega Man's foot and Pikachu. Because that's the page I opened to. So yeah, that was the pattern. I think it's hilarious how much pattern there is here. It's a book of just the pattern. So that was one thing I did. The other thing I did was buy all the flosses. I mean, not all the flosses. There's still like half the DMC set that I don't have. But so I did go to Michael's, and I did buy the like 25 or 26 skeins that I didn't have. So now there is all the flosses I need to finish the Tangible Good project. All like 56. No, actually there would be more than that. There's like 56 colors, I believe. But then like there's 9 skeins of blue for the sky. Each of these greens I think has 2 or 3, and then there's one that's like 7. Lots of blue and green for like the sky and the ground. And that's like in half stitches. Yeah, and then all of the colors I needed for the sprites, so like one of each of all of these colors. So I had about 25 skeins to buy. So I went to Michael's and I bought them. And actually, there's a bit of a cool story for to that. A shout out to our local Michael's. A plus to my local Michael's for actually giving me a discount that they didn't have to give me. What happened was I went on the bus one day. It's like a 45-minute bus ride. Michael's is not particularly close, but like Michael's is really the only craft store I can buy floss at. There is a Desserts, which I'm assuming sells embroidery floss because they have it listed on their website, like you can order it online kind of dealio. From what I could figure out, their floss is more expensive, so I have never actually been there because they're about as far away as the Michael's is, but more expensive, so like why would I do that? So I went to Michael's, 45-minute bus ride, to buy my flosses. My person happened to phone me while I was shopping to see if I wanted, he'd stayed late for work, and he wanted to see if I wanted to like go out for supper before he drove back to his house. And so I was like, sure, but I'm at Michael's. So he was like, oh well, you know, I'll come pick you up. So he picked me up at Michael's, which was really nice. I got to show him the entire like DMC floss collection because, you know, he's talked about things like I've mentioned, you know, I bought or picked up some of like the Michael's floss, and you know there's like 30 colors or something in comparison to like DMC is like 400 or 450 or whatever it is now. So when he went, I could be like, I was like, and you know, this is the difference between like the DMC floss and like the off-brand stuff is, here is the DMC color range, you know, and it's like half an aisle, I think. I mean, you know, the shelves go like up to like chest height. There's like 5 or 6 rows of like flosses, and then they go for, you know, half an aisle, something like that. So, you know, because Michael's has all of them in their little plastic bins. So I thought that was kind of neat to finally be able to see. No, this is what I mean when I say that there is like lots of colors. Like, these are all the colors. Well, while we were there, he was kind of like, my Christopher watches more YouTube than I do, probably. And I guess he watches a bunch of like tech people who often get sponsors they will like, or, you know, give stuff to like be reviewed, or, you know, in exchange for, you know, putting an advertisement in or something, be like, here, we'll give you a free thing if you give us some publicity. And he was like, well, you know, you shop at Michael's like for your like embroidery stuff, because whenever I talk about like going and getting flosses or something, I'm always like, yeah, I have to go to Michael's, because there's nowhere else in Ottawa, like there's nowhere else here. So he was like, well, what if like maybe you could like convince Michael's to like sponsor you or something? We should like ask someone about this. I'm like, okay, whatever, because it's not in my nature to, you know, to kind of stick myself out there so much. Which I realize might sound kind of funny, because, I mean, what is this YouTube video thing except, like, sticking myself out there in a way? I don't know, it's not my first inclination, but I kind of went like, okay, sure. And we were kind of thinking, okay, let's find someone to talk to maybe tell us, you know, who we would, you know, get in contact with if that was, like, a thing that could happen. So we found, like, you know, random Michael's employee and kind of went, hey, so, you know, I'm cross-stitching this thing for charity, and I have a YouTube channel. I'm wondering, you know, how you would go about, like, you know, getting, like, a sponsorship or something, you know, in exchange for, you know, an advertisement or you know, something to, you know, publicity or whatever, to be like, hey, you know, Michael's, yay. And she was like, and she was actually just like, you know, that sounds like a really great project. I will give you the teacher's discount for your floss for it. So the teacher's discount like 10 or 15%. And that was really super nice. So like, go Michael's. You know, if you want to like feel good about shopping somewhere, you may now know that in a little way, Michael's craft stores, or whatever they're called, Michael's Incorporated, are helping me do this project. Also, hey, if you're a teacher, you get a discount. So, like, you should totally take advantage of that, which I didn't know was a thing, because I'm not a teacher. So yeah, I don't know if any kind of, like, other sponsorship things will ever happen in the future, because honestly, I'm not super worried about it, because I do this just for the fun of it. I would not object if people want to give me free stuff, because who doesn't love free stuff? And I don't mind, you know, giving shout-outs to people's or, like, companies, you know, whose products I think are good. So hence my story and my shout out to our local Michael's, because that was super nice. So I didn't end up waiting for, you know, a coupon to get all my flosses, which is what I was kind of hoping for and waiting for. That happened. I went to Michael's. Michael's was awesome, and I did still get a discount because Michael's was awesome. And now I have all of my colors. Or rather, when I got home, I discovered I had bought all of my colors, save one. What had happened is I had made myself a list, and on my list, all of my colors were fairly, like, they had, you know, some numbers of separation, save two. I needed 3805 and 3806. So what I ended up doing without realizing it, because I was just like I had a list on my phone, I was just kind of going down the list, is I grabbed 3805, but not 3806. So I got home and realized that I had bought all of my colors save one. I was one skein of floss off from having the floss for the entire project. And I was like, I am not going for another 45-minute bus ride to Michael's and then another 45-minute bus ride from Michael's for one skein of floss. I don't have time for that. I posted about this on Stitch Mania because I figured I'm not going to go, you know, for my one color of floss, because ain't no one got time for that. But I did have, I looked through, I have a document, a PDF that kind of lists the flosses by color family and gives, like, you know, color description. So I kind of went, okay, I have this, you know, 3805, 3806 are cyclamen pink, I don't know how you actually pronounce that. They're kind of pink, so I went and looked, like, okay, what are the other pinks? What are the other pinks that are probably going to be really close to that? So I actually had 3 or 4 colors, other colors, that were close to the cyclamen pink or cyclamen pink. That looked like they should be close to 3806. So I lined them up and took a picture, and, like, with the 3805 as, like, a reference, and went, okay, I missed buying this color because, you know, I made a mistake. I'm looking for a color that's really similar to this, and these are the like 3 or 4 that I found that I think, you know, might work based on like their color description. Can you tell me which one is best? And I got a bunch of responses, and in the end it turned out of the colors I had 604 or 603, I think 603 it was, they were kind of like, that would be the closest. But then one nice lady, just completely out of the blue, completely randomly, was like, I have an extra skein, let me send it to you. And I was like, that would be amazing. And also ideal because, you know, because it's like 3805 and 3806, they appear together in some places as like different shades of the same color. So, you know, it would look better if I had both of the same color. And so I was like, if you would do that, that would be amazing. And I'm not going to say no. So what actually arrived yesterday was a skein of 3806. Not on the bobbin. I put it on the bobbin when I got it. From a super nice lady on Stitchmania who was just like, let me send you a skein of floss so that you have the right color, and sent me this really nice note. And it was really sweet of her. So that's a plus for my faith in humanity. I'm just like, it was really nice. I mean, a skein of floss maybe, I mean, it's 70 cents. A couple dollars to mail it though. Like, that's still, like, it's arguably not a lot of money, but the fact that someone would do that and just be like, without prompting or without me asking, like, I wasn't asking for someone to give me this color. I just wanted, you know, please help me find an equivalent. And this person was just like really nice and was like, I will just give it to you. I will mail it to you. So she did, and that was super nice. People are super nice. And it makes me really glad that super nice people exist. And that, yeah, and that just, I am touched by people's kindness. I am touched by this lady's kindness and just like giving me a skein of floss. That, you know, maybe it's not a super huge thing, but it did take her some time. It did take her a little bit of money to mail it, you know, and to go to the mailbox and to send it out. And like, I appreciate that. I mean, you know, it doesn't seem like much, but it's kind of amazing. So yeah. So that was the last skein I needed, and it arrived yesterday in the mail. So now in this box is everything I need to complete the tangible good project, which was, of course, my major stitchquisition over the past few weeks. I did actually, and I'm not going to show them because this is probably going to be long enough anyway, and also I'm not sure where I put them now. One of the things I did is in Kingston, where we were sailing from, there is a wonderful little store that is like everything I love all in one store. It was kind of amazing. It was called the Minotaur. And so it had, for example, it had games, and it had like role-playing games, which, you know, like board games, role-playing games, you know, those kinds of games, which are games I love. It also had a section on origami, so I bought myself some origami paper while I was there. I bought a book for one of my nieces, which looks like it'll be fun. I'm hoping she'll really enjoy it. I bought, they also had like a little stand with some pretty rocks, and I love pretty rocks. I'm a bit of a rock collector in like fancy, like, you know, semi-precious stones and things. So what did I buy myself? Some tiger's eye and amazonite and jasper and mica and carnelian. I feel like there's one more, but I'm not remembering it. Actually, a couple of those I got from, there was like a marketplace one day, like a market one day, and there was one person at the market selling a bunch of sort of like stones that he had sourced. Either he himself had gone and found them or had sourced them from like people he knew. It was funny because some of his stones was like, here's some amethyst collected from Thunder Bay. And I was like, I've been to that amethyst mine. Because I lived in Thunder Bay for a couple of years when I was in high school, and one of the things, you know, a tourist thing to do in Thunder Bay is they have, I think it's like one of the largest open pit amethyst mines, sort of like either in Canada, if not like in the world. I don't remember exactly what the statistic is now, because like this was high school. But you can go and visit the mine, and they have obviously like, you know, pieces of amethyst that, you know, you can buy that have been like carved or tumbled or like just raw amethyst. Or you can like, you do a little bit of like an introduction, and they like take you out to like a part of the mine. You know, I guess they've mostly mined out or whatever, and you can go and you can just like find pieces of amethyst, and you can, in it at the time it was like $2 a pound or something, or something like that, for of like rock. And so you could just like buy rock, sort of raw amethyst, and you could do it. You could also be like, I found this amethyst and I want to like get it tumbled, and they had like a rock tumbler, and you could pay extra to like have it tumbled or like have it cut, or kind of thing. It was really neat. Consequently, I have a number of pieces of amethyst just kind of hanging out in my house because we collected a bunch of amethyst while we were at the amethyst mine. Some nice, some less nice, because a blind person trying to find purple rocks in the ground. I wasn't the best at finding the amethyst from the amethyst mine, because find the purple rocks as opposed to the, like, brown rocks. Like, okay. I wasn't very good at it. However, I think by the time I moved out, I ended up with, like, the amethyst bits that, like, I had found, which do actually include a couple good pieces. And, like, the amethyst bits that, like, my little brother had found, because I think he decided, like, he really didn't care about them, and they kind of ended up with mine. Maybe even some of the bits that Mum found. I don't remember now. I have a random bits of amethyst, but yeah, so that was kind of funny, because there was a little sign that was like, amethyst from Thunder Bay, Ontario, and I was like, I've been to this amethyst mine. But that was the pretty rocks. The Minotaur had pretty rocks. There was also this guy in the market that had pretty rocks, and I love pretty rocks. And the other thing I bought, which is actually going to be stitching related eventually, is they had a whole big beading section. Like I said, this store was just like the everything I love in one place store. They also had like a little section of like plants, like air plants and like little like succulents. I didn't buy any plants. They would be a little harder to transport home. But I did buy myself some beads. They actually had some beads that were like semi-precious stones, and then some like fancy little charms, and yeah, so there were like a bunch of little beads. It was actually funny because my Christopher, they had like this beading section, and then they also had like a tiny like fabric section, and then like some wool. So it was like a whole little like fiber art needlecraft section. It was actually really cool. There were like some like knitting needles and crochet sticks, and then like a shelf of like wool of various sorts, and then they had like a shelf of fabric. So my Christopher found himself some really awesome Legend of Zelda fabric, and he bought himself, I think he actually bought himself a half yard just to make sure he had enough. And he's going to make himself a couple little like dice bags, because role players always have dice. You can never have too many dice. Pen and paper RPGs just use all sorts of dice all the time, and depending on the RPG, they use different dice. So, as a role player, you have lots of dice, and the bag he's currently using for his dice almost don't fit his dice anymore because it's a very small bag, and some of his then lots of dice, which is not even including the bunch of dice that he bought at one point and has lost somewhere in his house. One day they will get found again. But so he bought this, and it's like this really cool like Legend of Zelda, like stained glass looking fabric. So then he was like, well, I bought some fabric, and then I'm gonna like need some cord to like make the drawstring bags with, and then like some beads to go on like the end of the cord to make it look cool, and I'm gonna totally make myself some bags. And I'm like, cool, because like for sewing projects, making like drawstring bags is actually pretty damn simple. My dice live in a bag that I assume is red. I think it's red. Might be orange. I think it's red. Which my mom actually like whipped up in like half an hour. When I first started like doing the whole like role-playing thing, my like first like set of dice came in like a plastic box, because they came in a plastic box. They were quite big. And then, because I had mentioned to my mom, oh yes, we went to like the nerd store and I bought myself some dice. And so she happened to find like some random like a couple like big D6s, like 6-sided dice, I think, and like stuck them in my stocking that year for Christmas. And so I was like, my plastic box no longer fits all my dice. And so Mom was like, oh, okay. And then she went down to her sewing room, and half an hour later like reappeared and was like, here you go. And just like magically there was a bag. I've been using it ever since. That was like 10 years ago. Although my dice almost don't fit in my bag. Actually, they don't fit in my bag because all of my 6-sided dice are in a different bag. I don't think they would all fit in my bag if I took my 6-sided dice and put them back in the main bag. But so Chris is making himself dice bags. So at one point, maybe we will have an update that involves sewing, some sewing silliness from my Christopher in his attempt to make himself small bags out of cool Legend of Zelda fabric. I'm not sure when this will happen because he's planning on enlisting his mother's help and her sewing machine. I have never used a sewing machine. I don't know how to use a sewing machine. I'm not sure if I could safely use a sewing machine because I'm not sure if I could get my head close enough to see what I was doing without, like, stabbing myself in the face with a needle. Actually, I assume you can't stab yourself in the face with a needle in a sewing machine because I would assume they have, like, safety features to avoid that. But I'm not sure how I would do it with getting my face close enough to see what my fingers are doing, so as not, you know, so as to be able to, like, sew straight lines and not get my fingers or my nose or, you know, other extremities caught in the sewing needle. So, consequently, I've never actually even tried to learn how to use a sewing machine because it's a very daunting task. Also, currently, there is nowhere in my apartment that would fit a sewing machine, so even if I could use a sewing machine and wanted to use a sewing machine, I'm not gonna have a sewing machine until I have a house. Because there ain't no room here. That was the Minotaur. It was the most awesome store. If you ever want to go to a cool store in Kingston, Ontario, you should check it out. Which is Stitchquisitions, and I don't have any of the things from the Minotaur on me because I didn't think this through well enough to have that planned out. But there were, like, lots of little beads and some paper, and it was cool. Basically. So, yes! When on vacation, I bought things! Who is surprised? No one. Alright, having said that, the thing you all want to see, which I'm also not prepared with because I need to take all the clips out. I have done so much work in the last 3 weeks on this because this has been the only thing I have been working on. I have been, you know, doing my best to, like, get everything done, and so I think last time you saw it, I had finished all of the villains' outlines, and then I was working on the heroes, and I think last time I did a video. I might have only gotten, like, Samus and Mega Man done. Maybe Frisk and the Companion Cube. No, I think I'd done Samus, Mega Man, Frisk and the Companion Cube, and I was doing Link. Maybe I hadn't done Link yet when I did the video, because when I went sailing, I basically finished all of the outlines. Link had, like, a teeny bit left, so I did him, and then I did Claptrap. Claptrap is down here. Claptrap, and then I think I did Street Fighter dude, who is Ken, I believe that's Ken, Sonic the Hedgehog, Mario, Cloud, who will eventually be up on a hill once the background's put in, and then back down and did Pikachu on his surfboard. Because I've mentioned, like, I feel like Pikachu on a surfboard is a little ridiculous, but I talked to, like, my Christopher and Joy and a couple of my other friends, and I was like, surfboard ridiculous! Can I turn it into a skateboard? And they were all like, just go with it. Like, it's a hoverboard. Whatever. It's ridiculous, but it's also kind of funny. So that's Pikachu on a surfboard. So that was the last outline I did, and I was about halfway done Pikachu when my vacation finished. A week and a half ago. So then I have been now, or rather I should say now, I have been, so that's the whole thing. Can you see everything? So I have been filling everything in. I started with Sans here because I'd done his black and white already, so all I had to do was, like, his blue coat and, like, brown shirt, I guess that is. So he was, like, 2 colors. And because I'd done Sans, then I did Frisk. Frisk is unfortunately a bit hidden by the hoop. Because I'd done Frisk, I then did the Companion Cube, who is also hidden by the hoop. And the Companion Cube actually uses the color of floss that the very nice lady on Stitchmania was kind enough to give me. It's the same color, actually, as Pikachu's skateboard. or surfboard. That's the same pink. So it arrived, and I did the pink. Actually, I did the pink on the companion cube and the pink on this today. But I finished the companion, like the rest of the companion cube, a couple days ago. Actually, I did Sans last week, and then Frisk. I colored Frisk in basically on the drive, on the like the bus ride from Ottawa to Toronto on Saturday. So, 5-hour bus ride, and Frisk was finished, and then on the ride back, I think I did a little bit of the companion cube over the weekend while the baby was napping, and then on the ride back I finished, did the rest of the companion cube. And also, because I was doing portal things, so I did the companion cube, and then I did the turret. So the turret is now all filled in. And so just today, like I said, there was like the one color that I hadn't had yet, which arrived yesterday, because people are amazing. There is still good in the world in the form of random acts of kindness in the form of embroidery floss. So that was the companion, and then I started Pikachu skateboard. Because I was like, well, I have this pink in my needle, and this is a big chunk of it, so I did that. So I'll do Pikachu, and then maybe I'll do Snorlax, because I'm kind of seem to be doing like, good guy, bad guy, good guy, bad guy, of the same ones. Well, until I get to like Claptrap and the Moogle, because the Moogle is in the middle. The other thing that I think needs to happen is, so my friend Joy, who knows more about Undertale than either my Christopher or I, we wanted to include Undertale because it's like a really popular game, and because the Undertale characters are like, they're nice sprites. But neither of us have actually played it yet. So Frisk is with the good guys, because she's like the main character, and Chris kind of stuck Sans with the bad guys because he's got like the skull head. But it turns out that, amongst other things, Sans will sell you hot dogs in Undertale. And so Joy showed us a little video, like a video, like screen capture someone had did of Sans will sell you hot dogs. And after he's like sold you a couple, he will then start giving them to you and putting them on your head. So he will just, you go and talk to him and he's like, here, have fun, and then puts a like hot dog on Frisk's head. And then you can do this, and you get to like 29 hot dogs, and you ask him for like a 30th hot dog, and he's like, no, come on, 30 hot dogs, that's just ridiculous. How long do you think my arms are? I mean, 29, I can deal with that, but 30, no. And you walk away from this little house, and it's just like the Frisk sprite with 30 hot dogs on her head, like that are like 5 times her height. It's amazing! It's great! But consequently, I think my Frisk sprite needs a hot dog. I think there will be enough room. Samus's leg is really close, but I think I can put it on her head and not right into Samus's leg. I'll have to have a look at what the find a Frisk sprite with hot dog and see how big the hot dog is and what color it is, and see if I can put a hot dog on Frisk's head, because that would be hilarious. So then she would be Frisk on a companion cube with a hot dog. 30 hot dogs. It's the most ridiculous thing. And you walk away with the Frisk sprite with 30 hot dogs on her head. It's great. So yeah, so that's what I've been working on. Because that's what I've been working on. So I've gotten 4 sprites done. I'm on my 5th one. There are way more than 5 sprites. 21 or 22. So I'm still pretty damn sure this isn't getting done by September. But we're still working on it. We're gonna try. And besides, now that I've done the outlining, I just get to color very slowly with thread. It's actually really fun. It's really fun to have the outline and then sort of see it come together into as I fill it in and sort of take shape as a person. Especially for, I mean, the Undertale ones have a lot of black outlining, so they were pretty obvious from the beginning. But like the portal turret, all that kind of inside, shaping is from the different floss colors. And Pikachu has shading, which will show up as I do, and his mouth is somewhere in there and will show up as I do like the different colors. And so it's very satisfying to go from, you know, here's a blob with an outline, you know, it's a Pikachu outline, but you start adding the colors and it's like, yes, you know, look, there's like the skateboard has like pink, but then it has like this part is not pink, or a different pink, maybe a different pink, I don't know, I haven't done it yet. So, and things like that. Or like, for example, like I know that Mario wears like blue and red, but his sprite currently, because it just has the black and white, like you don't have any of like his clothes or like where his arm is. And once I like start filling that in, like he'll have, you know, he'll have like his like plumber's overalls and like his hat and his pants and things, and it'll be like, oh yeah, and look, there's all of his colors, and look how different he is. And I'm really looking forward to putting color in everybody. It's very satisfying. So that's what I've been doing. A very satisfying, very slow coloring in with thread. And that is all I have to show you. I will see you probably not this weekend, because it's Wednesday now. I'm hoping to sit down tonight, probably also tomorrow night, to be honest, get this edited, hopefully have it up tomorrow. But so it might not go up till Thursday or Friday, at which point there's not much point in doing a video on Saturday, because that will be like 2 days from now. So I will probably actually be back the weekend after that, a week and a little bit, rather than in 3 days. And I'll be able to show you who else I've got colored in. We'll see how fast I go. I hope you enjoy the videos and pictures from my sailing adventures and La Machine in Ottawa. If you like what you see, please feel free to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think of the format of the vlog parts. I'm trying something new, so I would love some feedback. And I'll see you all in a little over a week. Have a lovely weekend, you guys. Bye.